We begin in South Africa, where President Ramaphosa has reshuffled his cabinet, appointing former Tshwane Mayor Reshuffles Ramaphosa as the new Minister of Electricity. He has also appointed ANC second-in-command Paul Mashatile as the Deputy President following the resignation of David Mabuza. The President took the opportunity to change the political leadership in 10 other departments, including fierce detractor Lindiwe Sisulu from his cabinet.
The purpose of these changes is to ensure that government is properly capacitated and directed to give effect to the commitments made in the State of the Nation address and the budget speech. We have said that the people of South Africa want action, they want solutions, and they want government to work for them. All members of the executive have been directed to focus on those agreed actions that will make a meaningful difference and change now, that will also enable real progress within the next year, and that will lay a solid foundation for a sustainable recovery into the future. All parts of government are focused on addressing those issues that concern South Africans the most, they being load shedding, unemployment, poverty, and the rising costs of living, and crime and corruption.
Joining us now is South African journalist and editor Diane Hawker, who is in Istanbul, Turkey. Hello, Diane, and thanks for joining us on NC Continental Prime.
Good evening, Benga, and good evening to the viewers as well.
Now, there has been speculation about the new electricity minister since Ramaphosa made the announcement in February. What can you tell us about the new minister of electricity?
Well, we know that Reshuffles Ramaphosa has been working in the presidency. He's been holding a position recently as the head of investment and infrastructure, and he's had a keen interest in what's been going on in Eskom. He has a BSc in civil engineering as well as a PhD in public affairs, which some commentators have said actually makes him one of the most qualified people in government at the moment. Of course, there has been a question about what difference having a minister of electricity will make. And the theory is that having someone with this level of qualification, who's also worked in government for some time, he was the mayor of Tshwane from 2010 to 2016, that will stand him in good stead for such a position.
Ramaphosa also seems to have talent, the opportunity to clean house, moving and removing some detractors and bringing in close allies. Now, who is in and who is out?
Well, if you look at the makeup of cabinet now, I think that the clearest exclusion would be that of Lindiwe Sisulu, who has been a long-serving member of cabinet. She served both in the Zuma administration and in the Ramaphosa administration. Most recently, she was the Minister of Tourism, but she's previously also served as a Minister of Defense and a Minister of Housing. Now, she has been left out of the cabinet list, and that's significant because with the most recent challenge for the ANC presidency, she was amongst the people who was challenging Ramaphosa. She didn't manage to get enough votes to make it into, onto the ballot paper, but she was one of the most public commentators on his presidency, speaking out quite publicly about how she thought that he was doing. We also saw a change with Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who was in charge of cooperative governance. She's now been moved into the Department of Women, Children, and People with Disabilities, which is a ministry that falls within the presidency. The COGTA department that she was in charge of before was designed to kind of create cooperation between different government departments. It's also the department that deals with states of disaster. When there are national states of disaster, they are managed and coordinated by COGTA. So it's quite a significant department. Even though the salary would remain the same, the portfolio can be seen as her taking some sort of a demotion because it isn't as significant a department. And then, of course, there are a number of people who are brought in. We see Paul Mashatile coming in as the deputy president, and a number of others who would be said to be in the Ramaphosa camp and that were kind of with him when it came to that December elective conference.
Finally, Diane, President Ramaphosa has recently faced a significant personal scandal related to the theft of $4 million at his farm in Limpopo, the Phala Phala scandal. What's the latest development on that story?
Well, just today, the Democratic Alliance, the biggest opposition party in South Africa, released information about a response that they received from the South African Revenue Service. They did a promotion of access to information application, which basically is an application to get access to information from SARS. And they asked whether the money that was stolen from Ramaphosa's Phala Phala farm was declared in line with tax regulations here for South Africa. That the SARS's response was that the money was not declared when it entered the country, which would in fact be a tax violation. And we've already seen the Democratic Alliance and the EFF saying that Ramaphosa should be taken to task for this because it would be a significant problem for the president to have received funds that were not declared and or also for him to not have declared them himself.
Thank you very much, Diane. We do appreciate your insights, as always.
Thank you.